Hey everybody, what's going on? It's me, Sam. Welcome to another garden update video. This is week number 23 of the garden. I can't believe we have been doing this for almost 6 months. 24 weeks is next week. And as you can see, I'm showing you guys the entire layout currently of the garden. Some things have changed, so we'll talk a little bit about, the layout has pretty much changed. I'll give you an update on how everything is doing. And yeah, for overall though, all encompassing the cherry tomatoes, which are these two here, are doing really good. Remember that one cherry tomato was right here. In the middle was the romaine lettuce, and then there was a cherry tomato, but that has now moved. You can see down there, the layout is a little bit different. So the cherry tomatoes are now together, and the cherry tomato moved from this spot over to the middle spot. And the romaine lettuce has also moved to a new spot, which is down here. So in a second, I'll get a little bit closer, but overall, we have a new layout change for a couple of reasons, which I'll talk about right now. And yeah, let's just zoom in here real quick. The first bucket that I wanted to talk to you guys about is the bucket that had the cilantro in it. Let me just move this cherry tomato stem out of the way. There we go. This is pretty much all done. There is some small stuff in here. There's like one little cilantro. The spinach that's in here is kind of small. I've just been picking this off and eating it as as I've been kind of cleaning this bucket out. But overall, this bucket, let me zoom out a little bit, is pretty much done for. Um, the cilantro didn't come back anymore. Remember that we were able to harvest twice. The first time we made tacos on taco night, we used it for tacos on taco night, and the second time was to make a salsa, and that's all we got. The third time didn't come back. The cilantro that probably is in here is probably one of very few that did come back, or one of a few that we didn't catch the first two times. But overall, this bucket is done. I'm still going to keep it here. I don't think I'm going to water it anymore because I'm not sure what to do with its contents yet. So this will dry up eventually, and then I'll just, pick it up and throw it out. But I'm not too sure what to do with this because a good point in here is since we have been growing in buckets, all of the organic matter, the nutrients, the water, and everything that the plants need is contained in this bucket. And if you take a giant plant like the cherry tomato, for example, or both of them, they are self contained in this bucket. So they get all their water, nutrients, everything from this bucket. So once the cherry tomatoes have given all their fruit, it's a good assumption to make that all of the organic matter and nutrients that were in here or were probably exhausted by the cherry tomato plant. So there's probably not much organic matter here that another plant can use. So you can either add more compost or any more organic matter that you might have in there to enrich the soil again for a new plant, or pretty much make some more soil again, which was kind of what we did in the earlier videos. I don't remember quite the episode number, but you could make some new soil, and that's probably what I'll do if I do this project again after these cherry tomatoes have finished. But for now, I have to think about what I want to do in here, just because I'm not sure what plants I would harvest for the spring if I wanted to do that. But yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if I want to, continue growing. I wish I had more space to grow a bunch of stuff, but so far I've enjoyed it, and we'll talk about that stuff once that time comes. But overall, this bucket is done, and we can move on to another change here. And something I wanted to talk about is this romaine lettuce. It used to be here where the smaller cherry tomato is. Now there's broccoli here, and then we come down is the romaine lettuce. As you can see, all of the spinach that was around it, we have actually gone around and got rid of it. Well, we actually didn't get rid of it. We didn't throw it away or anything. It's actually right here. We harvested most of it. Right now, I'm just going to go inside, clean off, as much as I can. Just eat the little leaves because I pulled most of these right from the root, as you can see, from the root. And so that way, because I was able to grab a handful pretty much like this and just grab from the root, and it all came up really nicely. But the reason I wanted to talk about this plant was because a good thing to keep in mind about your garden, which is something that I've been lacking, to be honest, is like maintenance and cleaning, making sure everything is nice and clean and organized. And as you can see, now the romaine lettuce is nice and clean and organized as well. But something that I did start noticing with the romaine lettuce is that there was some yellowing and some browning on some of these leaves. So to keep up with that maintenance thing that I was talking about, I'm just gonna simply grab this leaf and probably just peel it off from. There we go, just like that. Because this leaf is just wasting energy on the plant. It's yellowing, it's browning. It's not worth keeping around. And I've been doing the same thing for the cherry tomato, which we can move on next. The cherry tomato itself does a good job of drying the leaves out and then just picking them off itself. But overall, sometimes you have to help it get rid of some of the leaves and some of the stems that are just kind of wasting energy that could be used for the actual growing of the cherry tomatoes. Like, check these out right here. We have cherry tomatoes everywhere. We got some more right here. We got a lot of cherry tomatoes. Overall, this plant is doing great. It needs a lot of water all the time, but overall, it's doing awesome. Can't wait. It's got a lot of cherry tomatoes, like I said, everywhere. So we'll have plenty. Next to it, as you can see, this was where the the cherry tomato was here. There was the romaine lettuce, and then the cherry tomato. Sorry, yeah, the other cherry tomato. But now everything's reorganized. So both cherry tomatoes are together now. And this cherry tomato is actually doing really good as well. It's hard to tell which branches belong to it. It's hard to tell which branches belong to it, just because it's all kind of combining together. But it is still growing cherry tomatoes. One of the things that is concerning that I keep an eye on is down here. There's some yellowing of some leaves, but I think that's just due to improper watering. I'm either overwatering or underwatering, and I can't figure out which one yet. I think it's overwatering actually. But yeah, both cherry tomatoes are doing really good. If we hop on over to the broccoli, there's not much change here, to be honest. We're kind of just waiting for these things to get bigger. To be honest, I probably need to look up pictures of the growing phases of the broccoli. I don't even know, because this, to me, I thought it was cilantro when I looked at it, but it's not. But yeah, it's doing okay. I think. I mean, it's growing. If it wasn't growing, it'd probably be dried out and dead by now. But so we're probably going to keep an eye on this. This will probably be the very last thing that we harvest, because this will probably take a long time. So if this ends up being the last thing we harvest, there's no point in making just like a minute video on one bucket. So make sure you guys are following me on Instagram. I leave that information on the description, and I'll post about the broccoli there more often in picture or short video format. Um, but yeah, you guys might be wondering where the green onions are. Those are actually hiding under here, under the cherry tomato. And I was checking up on these, and these stems are actually getting thicker by the day. So in about 2 to 3 weeks, I think, all of these should be ready to harvest, hopefully, along with the cherry tomato as well. Most of those cherry tomatoes, some of those they were really dark green. Now they're looking like a lighter green. They'll eventually look yellow, and then they'll move to red. And that's when we know they'll be ready to be harvested. But these will hopefully be ready around that time as well. We'll have some cool stuff to harvest also. But yeah, I think that'll do it for the week 23 update. Here's a romaine lettuce one more time. It's kind of cool how we can finally see, a good, like different point of view on it now that the around it is cleaned up nicely. And there's the broccoli, the two cherry tomatoes, and the green onions are down here. This branch actually belongs to the bigger cherry tomato. There's cherry tomatoes here. There's, let's see, more right here. They're everywhere. So overall, everything's doing really good. We cleaned up the romaine lettuce. We changed the layout a little bit. I want to make sure that bucket is always moist. The broccoli with the bucket with the broccoli. So I'm hoping that maybe if the broccoli gets a little bit more sun, the growing will spike and shoot up, and maybe the broccoli will ripen and get nicer. a lot quicker. So yeah, but overall, everything's doing good. This was the week 23 update for the garden. Here's everything one more time. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and Happy New Year. Bye.